The chimney to my fireplace is made of steel reinforced concrete rather than bricks. However, it was not manufactured very well. The rebar has been rusting for years, and as it expands, it cracks the concrete. You would not expect corroded steel to be interesting, but this steel is corroding in interesting patterns and colors. Perhaps you've heard that steel, when it is forged or stretched, will develop a grain, similar to the way wood has a grain. You normally cannot see the grain with your eyes. However, this rebar is rusting in such a manner that the grain is easily visible. On two sides of the rebar, the steel is flat, and you cannot see any grain, but when you turn it 90 degrees, you can see layers. The steel is rusting at the boundaries of the grain, making the steel appear as if it's composed of sheets. It has an incredible variety of colors and patterns. I think this is another example of how people are making a mistake when they assume that all of the interesting tourist attractions are very large and a very long distance away from their home. Many of us can find amazing sights in our own yard. With a magnifying glass, even a piece of rusted steel can make it appear as if you're flying over an uncharted area of a desert that has mountains, valleys, plateaus, and colors that nobody has ever seen before. As this rebar corrodes along grain boundaries, it causes flat flakes to fall off rather than irregular shaped particles. These flakes are like shingles on a roof. Some flakes are almost as sharp as a knife. Normally, when steel rusts, it creates a powdery red oxide, but the minerals in the concrete are interacting with the steel and creating a lot of different colors and patterns. If you did not know what you were looking at, NASA could claim that we are looking at the surface of Mars. NASA could claim that the colored lines are dry creek beds on Mars. If NASA had used images of this material for their backdrop for the Apollo moon landing, they would have created a much stronger interest in space exploration. Who would figure out that this is a piece of rusted steel? This area would make an excellent landing site for the Apollo astronauts. The area looks like it's covered in emeralds and other types of jewels. Some pieces of rebar have bits of concrete attached to it, such as this one. The white areas are the concrete. The light-colored particles are the sand in the concrete. Some of the black areas look like burned out land that has been covered with bubbly volcanic lava. You don't have to travel to other planets to see strange landscapes. All you need is a magnifying glass and start looking around your own home. There are so many different and amazing colors and patterns in the pieces of my broken, rusted chimney that Hollywood and NASA could fake dozens of trips to other planets. These could seriously be used as backdrops. Many decades ago there was some type of pier in the ocean near my house, but today all that remains are a few of the steel beams that held up the pier. That steel is now corroding, and it is also flaking off in sheets. But unlike the steel in my chimney, most of the flakes are covered with bits of sand. You are now looking at one of the flakes of steel from that pier. The amber-colored objects are the sand particles. I suppose the sand particles get attached to the steel when they're wet, and then as the steel corrodes, some of the particles become trapped in the corrosion products, causing them to appear as if they're embedded in the steel. They also get covered in iron oxide, which gives them a dark amber color. The parts of the steel that do not have sand particles have some bizarre patterns.